What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good day. Today, we're going to be talking about the best answer ever given to when you're looking up for, hey, I'm not getting no views. And then when someone says, just keep posting. And you're like, what? What kind of response is that? Let's elaborate more. Now, with anything, I know, well, let me start off by saying I speak for myself on all this stuff. When I first started YouTube, or when I started photography, or whatever the case is, anything that I started, any kind of project, I'm always Googling. I'm like, what is the best way for this? What is this? How do I do this? How would I gain this? Well, when it comes to YouTube, one of the biggest questions asked or researched or looked up from what I saw was, I'm not getting any views. And that's it. They'll type that in, and then a slew of different videos pop up. And when I first started, I used to see these people that just said, hey, you know what, just keep posting. And I was like, what kind of idiotic statement is that? Until I looked further into it. And it makes sense. If you're not getting views on your videos, you have to just keep posting. You have to build that relationship. No one's going to keep coming back to you or coming back to your channel to look at your other videos when you have none. For example, myself, I had tons of shorts on my channel. And then I decided, hey, you know what, I'm gonna put a couple of videos up. And they tanked. And instead of me saying, hey, well, you know what, let me look into that and find out why those videos tanked. How come they didn't do as good as the shorts? Shorts were getting in anywhere from I think I had one for over 1 million views and stuff like that. Some real viral shorts on my channel. And when I went to do the videos, I was disheartened. I'm like, hey, you know what the hell? No one was watching the long forms. What I should have added to the keep posting is, if you're not getting any views, keep posting. And then when the ones that start to get views, analyze and see what you did on those. Analyze if you overdid it. Some people put too many captions on here. Some people put pow, boom, boom, this and that. And they get disheartened, they just move on, or the change of scenario. Some of my videos that did good was actually outside of the studio. So I was like, well, you know what? Do I need to go sit in the car, or do I need to get this better? And then make sure when you're looking at your videos, you're looking at the right thing. Maybe it's the message. Maybe it's how you came off. Maybe it's what you're talking about in the video, the topic itself. And then start to work off that. Now, I'm not saying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not saying to reinvent your personality or whatever the case is. You should always be true to who you are. Otherwise, you're going to get lost out there. You're not going to be yourself. It's rough, and I say that a lot on all my videos. YouTube it's not easy. If you're on this place, if you're on this platform, this tests your patience. This tests your bounce back. It tests your abilities and your grit. Definitely your grit. Being on YouTube plays with your emotions. That's why you see these people either get burned out or crash, get famous on YouTube, and then all of a sudden disappear. And then they're like, I came back off of a year of leaving YouTube because I was depressed. I don't understand that. Me personally. This has been, like I said from the get-go, it's so therapeutic. It's been enlightening. The other day I talked on a video where normally in a video conference call with other people, I'm usually the one that's quiet in the back. Well, since I've been on YouTube and I've been stepping out of my comfort zone, I was able to carry a conversation, be more present on that conference call. And it's because of here. If you have a passion for what you do, and it shows, it's just like a conversation. You could be talking to 3 or 4 different people, and say, for example, mine is photography. and there's a photographer over there, and we just start talking, I can be enveloped in that conversation for hours. And say there's 5 other people there, and one's talking about knitting and whatever the case is, or dog grooming. I'm not going to really pay attention to that because it's not what I'm passionate about. That's going to be another play into the no views. Once you tap into the market and they find you, you'll start to grow. But you have to have more out there. You have to have something for them to come back to. It's like a series. I love series that you get to grow with that character. You get to grow with that person. And sometimes when they kill that person off, you're like, oh my God. I think one of the worst ones that a lot of people jumped off a cliff was that Glenn guy on The Walking Dead. A lot of people just, lost it, Or another one was the Sons of Anarchy when they killed the guy with the long beard. I forgot his name. I should have wrote that down, but I'll figure it out at the end. But when he died, that was sad. I mean, I bawled a little bit when they hit him with the bat or the pipes and stuff like that. You felt really bad for that guy. That's the same way you want to do this. You want to think of it as like a series. You want to think of it as a continual growth, a long-term commitment that you're going to be there. A lot of people like to follow other people and see different things in their lives. Like that 18-day countdown for me till my birthday I loved that. I started getting so much feedback from people and comments, and the day of my birthday, I blew out a cake here and stuff like that. And I just grew so much in that time, in only 18 days. I'm not talking about the YouTube stuff. I grew. So instead of focusing on the no views and this and that and worrying about that same old statement, keep posting, look into what you're putting out there. Really see is this has an audience. And who knows, it might have an audience. But the first person that should be in the movie theaters watching your show is yourself. You should be able to enjoy what you're watching. I know I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I know some things I say is going to rub people the wrong way or whatever the case is, or I can get better in this and that. But I like to look back on these videos and see how I'm getting better at speaking, holding a conversation, looking at this light or this little thing. Before when I first started, I had this little sticker that was on my phone to focus there. Or I would be like moving and looking around everywhere else instead of the cell phone. And that takes time. So yes, you got to keep posting. Yes, you got to look at what you're posting. You got to look and see, am I giving enough? Is there enough context in my videos? And is it a continual growth that I'm inviting people to come into? So I hope that helps you. And like always, I appreciate you for being here. Hopefully one of these videos helps you out. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. We're all about growth. And I love reading the comments. I like responding back to comments. I like hearing positive stuff. If it's negative, you can kick that to the curb and take it somewhere else. We already know what we need to improve. So on that note, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the next video. Deuces.